Further debate? I recognize the member from Scarborough Guildwood.
Thank you. Yes. Speaker, I rise today to speak to Motion 66 on creating a provincial rideshare framework and improving first-time, last-mile access across Ontario. And I really like the member across the aisle from Leonard Frontenac Kingston. He's one of the really good members over there. And I am going to support the motion, but I just want to, present some concerns that I have. And so, Speaker, let me start by saying this clearly. Improving first-mile, last-mile access is important. It matters, and it is one of the biggest gaps in our transportation system today. Speaker, if connections are unreliable, expensive, unsafe, or inconvenient, people will not use the system. They will drive, and they will sit in traffic, causing more gridlock. Speaker, if this government is actually committed to bridging the first-mile, last-mile gap, like they said they are doing in this motion, they would have not voted down my bill. I'm really proud to have this opportunity to bring forward my both bills again. So in 2024, I introduced Bill 184, Supporting Mobility, Affordable and Reliable Transportation in Ontario Act, to address exactly this issue. Speaker, again in 2025, I brought it forward again through Bill 70, Smart Ontario Act. Speaker, both my bills amend the Metrolinx Act 2006, requiring it to promote and facilitate the integration of routes, fares, and schedules of municipal bike share systems to bridge the gaps in first mile, last mile. We need options. Speaker, once again, this government does what it does best. It votes our bill down on this side of the aisle. And now, Speaker, this government has bring back sections of part of my Smart Ontario bills and I would say put it into their rideshare strategy. Speaker, when the government stands up and says it wants to improve first mile, last mile access, people have every right to ask whether this is a real commitment or just another motion with nice words attached to it. Speaker, I see these gaps every day in Scarborough for years. Scarborough has been treated like a transit desert. People in my riding of Scarborough Guildwood know what it means to live with long walks to transit. We're still doing that today. Unreliable connections, overcrowded buses, and commutes that take way too long. Speaker, for senior students, shift workers, and people trying to get to medical appointments, rideshare could help close part of that gap, especially late at night or when local transit does not reach where they need to go. Speaker, Scarborough does not need a government that tells people to pay extra out of pocket because this government failed to build a connectivity system that properly serves Ontarians. Speaker, that's why I tabled my petition in this legislature demanding accountability and rail transit connectivity investment for Scarborough, signed by over 1,500 Scarborough residents. This petition puts on record what people already know: unreliable service, excess commute times, and poor connectivity have only gotten worse with the derailment of Line 3. The people in Scarborough are still suffering through connectivity in Scarborough from that derailment. Speaker, rideshare can be part of the solution in communities like Scarborough and even rural and northern communities. It can help connect people where traditional fixed route transit is limited. Speaker, first mile, last mile is bigger than Uber. It is bigger than one company, one app, or one approach. It is about giving people real transportation options. Speaker, that is exactly what my SMART bills try to do. Bike share is one of the clearest, most practical first mile, last mile tools we already have. It is not some distant technology that needs to be built from scratch. It is being used right now by millions of people across Ontario. Speaker, in 2025, Bike Share Toronto tracked 7.8 million trips, increasing from 6.9 million trips in 2024. Speaker, in 2025, about 231,000 users were first-time riders. And Speaker, total trips are projected to rise to about 8.6 million in 2026. So, Speaker, this is a massive demand. People are already, choosing bike share because it is convenient, efficient, affordable, and often faster for short trips. Speaker, when millions of trips are being taken and demand is growing, the population is growing year over year, this government should be asking how to integrate that into the transit system. We have seen remarkably growth in the bike share system, and there is a current disconnect between the bike share systems and the TTC and GO system, like they almost exist in two different worlds. Speaker, bikes are a great first mile and last mile transit option, giving riders a healthier and more flexible method to get towards subways and GO stations than just buses. This government is not serious about the Rideshare program. This is just a start, however, and I'm happy that it came forward in a motion because I heard the member across the floor present in more detail than what the motion said, give us like 2 lines or 3 lines. So we all had to go back and figure this out and come up with our debate information. Why doesn't this government give us the information that we really need to come into this House and debate our bills or debate motions properly? Speaker, there is no information in this motion, and I said it already, to really tell me how they're going to be easing the first mile, last mile. I didn't see that. I didn't hear about that. Speaker, a rideshare vehicle is still a car on the road. It still contributes to traffic. It circles, it waits for requests, and drives around without a passenger. Speaker, if anyone has ever tried to take an Uber from Union Station, because I've tried that, I've given up on that route, they know exactly what I mean. Speaker, you wait for a driver stuck in the same traffic. Try to find the right pickup point, and they're going to keep circling, watch cars crawl through gridlock, and struggle to leave one of the most congested areas in the city. Speaker, how is that a seamless transit connection? That is gridlock on top of gridlock. Speaker, if rideshare is combined with bike share, safer bike lanes, safer walking routes, and rail fare integration, then we can actually reduce gridlock and give people options that fit their commute. We should not be penalizing people for choosing active transportation or forcing them into Ubers. We should not be making the greener option more expensive. Speaker, this is what I mean when I say the government is not thinking far enough. I really want them to think far enough. Motion 66 talks about rideshare regulation, but where is the broader transportation vision in this? Where is the environmental lens? Where is the gridlock and congestion lens? Where is the affordability lens? Speaker, if we're going to talk about rideshare, we also have to talk about rideshare drivers. As the critic for transportation, we must consider both the riders and the drivers. Riders need safe, reliable, affordable options, but rideshare drivers also need fair treatment, fair wages, and basic dignity. Recent reporting based on City of Toronto data shows that rideshare drivers in Toronto were on the road without passengers about 50% of the time in 2025. That is called deadheading. I just give it that name. It is for real. It means time spent driving, waiting, and burning gas without being paid for a trip. Rideshare drivers are paid minimum wage only during engaged time. This means the time from accepting a trip to dropping off a passenger. So rideshare drivers are spending half their time on the road waiting for bookings without getting paid. And now we are saying we want to add these drivers to the rideshare strategy or programs without details of compensation. So yes, Speaker, let's have a provincial framework that let's make it protects all commuters, rideshare drivers, and respects municipalities' rights over local transportation systems, over their local transportation systems. Speaker, I support the goal of improving first mile, last mile access. We all need this. We know how it's important to us and all of us in Ontario. I support the idea that we need a clearer framework for rideshare, but this motion is very limited to what it includes. Speaker, as I close, If this government is really serious about building better first mile, last mile solutions, then here is what they should include, support full multimodal first mile, last mile integration, bring bike share into route and fare planning, work with municipalities instead of overriding them, protect rideshare's drivers and fare standards, fix transit projects that are delayed and over budget, deliver on Rail Go expansion projects, improve the safety on all transit services. Speaker, the people of Ontario need a system that works. They need a system that connects. Speaker, Ontarians do not need another motion that says the right thing. They need a government that finally does the right thing. But I'm still supporting the motion. Thank you.